All right, let's get going. Let me just ping the Discord. Live streams live now. So yeah, people can vote on a scenario to create in the scenario editor. And then I'll do one last bit of self promo on the Stormchaser coaching one. Yeah, hello, Starch Fulgasaur, Silver Wolf, Sunny. Yeah, I like how the editor's coming together. Sorry, I haven't realised the game's paused. I just paused on an additional Discord server there. I don't know if any of you watch Convective Chronicles. Just excellent forecast breakdowns. I've learned tons about forecasting from him. He's a Trey Greenwood. He's also runs like his own business on top of that called Stormchaser Coaching, and he's got a Discord server which allows self-promotion. But I've posted 3 times there in the last, let's see how many hours, like the last 4 hours. So I'll make that the last post for probably a couple of months now. But yeah, he does a Stormchaser Coaching. 2026 Poland and XQN XYZ. So I don't know if you're supposed to pronounce that a certain way, but hello as well. So we're gonna have a vote here in a second. Everybody's waiting for this, so let's just open it up. Right, we're gonna create a new scenario, but before we can do that, we're gonna need to decide which one to do. Xander. That's much easier. Thank you. I remember that. Oh, so if the Q is an A, then that instantly makes sense. The Q just looks like a Q to me. I didn't see that. So I've thought of 4 different scenarios. If you've got an idea, feel free to drop it in the chat. Hello, Kebabik Kid. I was saying I had them noted down. Notepad. Wow, here they are. Yeah, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll do my best to try and remember the suggestions. It's hard while you're live to keep taking notes, but yeah, if it's in the chat, it's recorded. So if I ever go back to this video, all the live chats are archived. The pro page that shows the Dorothy app experiments you worked on a while ago. Dorothy app experiments. With the parameters for the tornado being equivalent to what the probe is measuring. I showed it a while ago. I'm trying to remember which app that is. Are you talking about the Dorothy replica software? I'm just gonna. Hello, Neon. Oh yeah. It's one thing I'll be careful with that is that. So I know I've used that Dorothy style animation for the main menus, like an animation, but that software is like a replica of somebody else's design, who I've actually been in contact with. Yeah, I'll have a think. It would be a cool way to get that sort of animation into the game, but I want to be careful I don't make it too close to the movie. So I'm going to create a poll here. How you do it? Engage with your audience. Start a poll. Okay. Which scenario should we build tonight? So the ones I've been thinking of are obviously El Reno 2013, Moore 2013, which is one of my favorite sets of footage, just in terms of how quickly everything intensifies there. We've got Enderlin 2025. Oops, Enderlin 2025. And the last one was the Andover 1991, which might take a while. That's quite a long track tornado. So I'll start the poll now. We'll give it a few minutes until there's an obvious winner. Want to drop in and say you love the game? Oh, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to do that. Good luck. Thank you. Yeah, that's the thing with the game. Like, I don't know if I've mentioned this on stream before. I think I did. I had like a company offer to buy out the game from me, and I was just saying like it's not because they're saying like, oh, what's your price? Like, what's your price? And I'm saying it's not just the game. I'm not just looking at this as like a thing to sell. It's like the interaction with the community, something which it's like I'm making the game I've always wanted to play since a child. Like it's not just like a business transaction. Like this is something I'm passionate about. I love tornadoes. I want to make the best game I can. I look forward to working on it at the end of each day. So yeah, I'm not just gonna sell out to some random company who's just essentially just looking to flip it for a quick profit. To be honest, from what I could understand. So yeah, this is definitely a game that I'm building out of my love for tornadoes and simulation games and putting all that together into one, hopefully, really fun project. So don't worry, I'm not just going to sell out to just some random company. Like I did appreciate them reaching out. Like they didn't have to reach out, and um, the and they have tried to support as well by trying to link me up with other publishers because they could see that they weren't going to get anywhere with trying to buy the game from me. Um, but yeah, what I could just imagine happening is it would just become something with probably like microtransactions or people who have no understanding of what it is that actually makes the storm chasing game fun, uh, and go the complete wrong direction. Like imagine if like Ubisoft got the hands on this, it'd just be like you'd probably have to pay per mile that you drive or something like that. Oh, Sierra Johnson, have I had anybody else join who I haven't said hi to? No, I think I'm sitting on top of the chat pretty well. Actually, the Endland 2025 one would be nice. It's modern in a sense. Yeah, good point. Let's see how. And I don't want to end the poll. I want to see where the vote's up to so far. Uh, my screen's kind of glitched, and I can only see the topmost vote just now. Oh, there we go. Click on it. Okay, so we've got El Reno 2013 with 55%. Moore 2013 at 27%. Enderlin is 18%, and nobody's voted for Andover. Yeah, to be fair, this would be quite a long stream if we're going to do the Andover 1991. I've got the track up here. I was just looking at some of the tracks. It is a very long track, Tornado, 46 miles. Enid, Oklahoma. I guess we'll have to wait and see if that's going to get upgraded to EF5. I see there's some controversy. They've managed to come up with some method of measuring wind speed based on like tree damage, I think, if I understood correctly. You know, a fictionalized version of the El Reno where it's 3.5 mile mega wedge. So I feel like the El Reno scenario is already like intense and uh, like a big enough tornado as it was in real life. Considering it's real life and it's 2.6 miles, I already feel like that. I think pushing it to 3.5 miles wouldn't really make any difference. All it would do is make it less realistic without actually adding anything to the intensity. Tree damage and house damage. Okay, so I don't think anybody else is joining the chat or going to update the poll. So unless Moore 2013 gets a load of votes in the next couple of minutes, I'll run it till 40 past the hour or 22 the next hour, so less than a minute, just in case like 10 people join and all vote for the same tornado. Oh, it's changing around. I can see El Reno and Moore 2013 doing a bit of a dance, but El Reno 2013 is still ahead. EF5 wins, but EF3 damage. Yeah, that's the difficult thing, isn't it? Like these tracks essentially give you um, a record of the damage that happened, not necessarily the peak wind speeds which you experience at each point. So yeah, I'm going to end the poll now. So we'll do El Reno 2013. and then it'll help you see kind of like the workflow of how this is going to work in practice. So El Reno 2013, so 31st of May 2013. We'll have to, got myself a new mouse. I really like it. So I bought myself my own mouse a while back, and I've been like taking it to and from work. So like I'll take it to work and then I'll bring it back home and then use it when I'm working on the game at the night time and then take it back to work. Um, excuse me. It was just becoming a bit too much of a faff, and I thought let's get myself just a nice mouse. So I got myself the MX Master 3S, the Logitech mouse. I really like it. So let's just add a few more filters because we've got quite a few tornadoes here. Let's just do exactly EF3. Right, now we click share, download KML. There we go. Now we can open this up in Google Earth. Right, so I'm going to hide this one and right. What's that track there? I don't remember downloading this one. EF3 tornado track. Whoa, the scroll wheel wouldn't stop there. I'm just getting a bit lost with all the other ones I've downloaded before. Right, this like that's Pampa 995. There we go. Right, where's this one? I've taken all the label names off, so I'm trying to figure out where I was. What is going on here? Just zoom into a random point for me, please. There it is. Okay. What we want is for this to be as high res as possible. So let's collapse. Can we collapse this sidebar? Pull that to the left. Can we fit everything in there? Let's give that a tiny click. Then we'll also need a reference scale. That's important. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click ruler. Let's just put a reference line on of say like 2 kilometers. Let's just put it down here somewhere. So the little pop-up which tells me how long the scale is on a second screen. Right, that's 2 kilometers. So we want to zoom back out now. You can zoom in again. Right. Going to screenshot that, and then we're going to import it into the scenario editor. A couple of things we'll also need to figure out. So what I'm not going to do tonight is probably get the exact speed at every single point along the track because that's just going to take too long. What I'll do is, if we go here, if you click on the track, it gives you a path length, 16.2 miles, and a start and end time. So only 41 minutes. So 16.2 miles in 41 minutes. Average speed. 23.7 miles an hour. So we'll just use that 23.7 as the magic number throughout. So let's open up the scenario editor. So we're going to call this well, it's not El Reno 2013. Display name, El Reno 2013. What does the map width have to be actually? That's another measurement we'll need to take. So we've already taken the screenshot we need. So what width is that? That is about 23 kilometers. And then imagine, so we can probably, if we have a 25 square kilometer map, we can probably use that. So let's set the map width to 25 kilometers. I guess this can double up as a tutorial as well. Maybe I can just clip this section of the stream and this can be a tutorial video. So the first thing you want to do is select your reference image. And I'll just go through my screenshots here. There it is. Next thing you want to do is zoom in. So you can just use your scroll wheel to zoom and you can click and pan. You can click and drag your image. So let's go through the modes first. So while a line's selected, you can click and drag this. So this is going to be your map. You can click and drag this. Once you're happy with the placement of it, so let me place it here. That does get very near the edges. Should we maybe make the map width 30 kilometers? There we go. So left click to click and drag the actual reference image, right click or middle click to pan the whole thing, and then once you're happy with the positioning of this, so let's just place it roughly in the middle of the map, you unclick a line and now it's locked, so left clicking and dragging won't change that. So you can drag like this. So yeah, select your reference image, align, place it where you want, and then we need to calibrate. So to do that, let's zoom in. We want to zoom right in on this reference line added. So I've made that exactly 2 kilometers. So you click calibrate. You'll need to enter your known distance here. So I'll set that to 2 kilometers. So hit enter. Simply do a left click on the left hand side, a left click on the right hand side, and it'll automatically rescale it. So now the scale of your image and the scale in game are matched. So again, if we want, after that rescaling, if we want to realign, we can do that again. So let's just put that in the middle somewhere. And now we need to start actually adding the path. So I need to figure out this color code. So I guess we've got, let's treat this as F1, blue as F2, and orange as F3. And then these tiny dots of red as F4. So let me just catch up on the chat a second here. Yeah, 5 tornadoes officially classified as 200 miles an hour winds. Okay, a bit of a debate on F versus AF scale there. Hallam F4 would be pretty interesting. Oh yeah, it could have been bigger than El Reno. I've been asking ChatGPT to do some comparisons between those two tornadoes actually. How do you get the new look for the radar in the game? You have to have it upgraded. Yeah, you need to have it up, so it'll automatically happen in your game as long as you've updated it. You need to yeah, upgrade your radar a few levels. I think by the time you're onto like level 3 or 4, you'll be able to see the difference. So are we happy with that alignment? Yeah, I think that's pretty decent. So we'll do that. We've already calibrated. So let's just move this over here to the starting point. Now see this, it even there's a maximum turning radius that the tornado can have. So I think I'll set the touchdown point right here. Maybe a little bit outside of it actually. So we've got touchdown here. So what was the magic number again? It was like 27.1 miles per hour. It's not letting me input it for some reason. Oh yeah, because you can only do it on actual waypoints. 27.1. See, we can adjust this. Right, so it looks like it's wider than 300 meters. So let's say 400. And what's its Vegeta rating here? Like right at this point here, if I just move it out the way, pretty much F1 at this point. We've also got the fall off factor. I guess the winds did circulate quite wide. Let's set that to something really low, like 0.2. And then it's just a matter of experimenting to get it to match the thing. So let's maybe match the touchdown point. So if we just extrapolate backwards from there, let's place the touchdown point there, but then the initial point here, maybe that fall off factor is a bit too harsh. Yeah, it's even wider than 400. Let's try 600. Okay, that's getting somewhere. Got another point here. So already looks by this point, it's even wider by. So the speed here again, 27.1, width about 800, and it's a Fujita rating of F1. Oh yeah, we need to figure out what the bottom ratio would be. It was cone initially, wasn't it? So just be safe. I think zero point 0.5 should be reasonable. Let's just keep it at 0.5 for most of it. We can always fine tune it on another stream. I guess the point of this is to show off the editor. Oop. Um, yes, let's go to about here, and then we can add another waypoint. So we'll add after that one. We'll put another waypoint here, and again, it's even wider by this point. So 1200 out like this. Then we'll add another one after, and this is where it's starting to go into F2 damage. I know the EF scale and F scale are slightly different. 23.7. Yeah. What did I just Google before? 23.7. Yes, you're right. Let me go back and change these. So 23.7, 23.7, 3.7, and 3.7. I think maybe 1,200. Was that a bit wide? Let's see if I just move this. Maybe not, actually. Was he at 800 meters here? Maybe it was a bit wide for this bit. Maybe should I say like 900 for this one? And then for 1,200 meters, yeah, about here, still a little bit big. I could scale the whole fall off factor up a bit, 0.7 or 0.8. And then we can add another one after. So let's just go somewhere over here. It's still looking like it's following the track pretty closely. At 1,200 meters, or could scale that. Do we need to scale that down a bit, to, not to 100, down to about a kilometer? Kilometer to about here. Oh, it looks like it's bigger actually. Should we say like 1,400? Let's get to here, and then we'll start getting into the F3, F4 damage. So let's add another one after. So this is the point where we're getting up to F3 damage. It'd be easier to fix all scenarios really, um, than editing a CSV, loading it into the game, loading up the game, generating a map, realizing it doesn't line up properly, and then going back to it. So we get like a little pocket of like F4 damage here, or F3 with some embedded F4. It looks like that's a little bit too wide. Is it try 1,100? Should we say 1,100? And then it kind of does this little loop type thing. Should make it shrink a little bit as it gets ready to perform this loop maneuver. Uh, we can add another bit here, and then oh look, let's adjust the curve because it does have a maximum radius it can turn. And then what we'll do is we'll add a point after this, just to try and control that turning radius a bit. I think the tornadoes in the game can't quite turn that much, so I'm going to do my best to match it. And it looks like it temporarily goes down to about F2 strength again. So on the next, let's add waypoint at the end. Go down to F2, and it looks like it's getting wider again. Used to be even wider than that. Let's go up to a mile. Yeah, it's about a mile at this point. And then add another one at the end over here. And this is the point where things are going to get really out of hand. All right. 1,600 should set like 2 kilometers by this point, or even wider. And then I'd have to, because this is where it's going to do its hard left turn and expand at the same time. And I know it did accelerate at this point, but I'm not going to bore the chat by me looking through like reports of it and trying to reverse engineer exactly at what time it's sped up and slowed down. So at this point, what's the width going to have to be, like 3,600 or something? Possibly even more than that. Just for reference, what's 2.6 miles in kilometers? 4 kilometers. So that 4.2 kilometers. So if we say this one's like 4, that'll be the initial part of the expansion. Then we'll add another one at the end up here. I don't know how well we can do these loops, and we'll set this to 4,200. I'll try my best to do a loop. Let's zoom right in here. Add another one at the end here. And then... Oh, actually, that loop's coming out quite nice, isn't it? Let's just move this. I need an option, actually, I think, to toggle the trail on and off. So sometimes I can be following the trail, other times not. I will add another one at the end to here, and at the end here. Did that work? I don't think it actually added anything. Yes, we got our other loop there. And then it does seem to go up to F3 strength again. How we're doing in terms of following the damage path? I think if we've gone a bit too big, should I shrink this down to 4 kilometers? And this one down to 4 kilometers. This one down to 4 kilometers. Think of tornadoes in the dinosaur era. Yeah, I guess the whole climate and atmosphere and everything was different then. But dinosaurs probably didn't have the means of understanding what was going on. Let me just, I'm going to click and drag this around just to get an idea. No, I think keeping it that wide, I think some of these later ones maybe need to shrink down a bit. For, let's say, like 3,600 on this last one. I may need to move the points actually so they resize. What's handy as well, before it exports, it'll tell you any errors and on which waypoint it's on, rather than having the disappointment of loading into the game and then suddenly... Yeah, I still feel, are these too big here? I feel like they need maybe 3,200 maybe? That's probably a bit closer. And then let's add one at the end again. It still seems about right. Maybe set this down to 3 kilometers. Um, we shrink it again just to get it a bit closer. We get the overlays matching a bit more closely. Same with that one. I think I'll just make them slightly smaller with each one. Say like 2200. Still got some embedded F3, so I'm just going to keep that in there. So we can drag this one. We'll try and match that shape there. Let's make this one 2 kilometers. And then it looks like it just kind of suddenly just ropes out as quickly as it was there. So let's start weakening it now, making it smaller. Add another one at the end. So let's get this down to F1. We'll still maybe make it small at this point, 1400, and then it looks like it just dies out as it goes off the map here. So let's just set the spawn out point like here. Vegeta rating 0, width 0 essentially. Rope out. Do all of the notes say rope out? Okay. Let's just go and clear some of the notes. So that might actually be easier to do in the CSV than in this. Yeah, that's the closest I've got though. I'm not going to do a super accurate one, but this is just showing the workflow of how you'd do it. Oh, real Smurf. In the dub speed arts, does the scenario editor support multi-tornado events? Not yet. So for this initial quick mock-up of the scenario editor, it only supports one tornado at a time. But I imagine soon I'll be able to make it support multiple tornadoes. Right. I think we can now export. Okay, top width exceeds the supported maximum diameter. Yeah, so it shows you here, segment 13, 14, 15, 16. So if you just, let's have a look. 13. So we need to increase the bottom ratio. So let's say just 0.7 do it. Yeah, 0.7 should be enough. Let's do 0.7, 0.7, 0.7, 0.7. Oh, can't select that one. 0.7 and then 0.7. So let's just see what I'm trying to export it now. Segment 18, top width exceeds 17, 18.7. There we go. Exported and validated. So it's saved that there. What we'll do is now we need to go to that path. You won't usually have to do this. I'm just doing this for the sake of time. So let's go back to the main menu. And I'm just going to quickly edit that file. Is app data local low, default company, tornado research and rescue, scenarios. Then we've got El Reno 2013, and now I'll just open the CSV. Oh wait, I don't have a license for Excel. I used to have a license when I worked for the university, but now I left the uni and I don't have one. So what I'll just do is open with Notepad++, should be fine. Yeah, let's just delete these at the end. What I could just do, rope out, and we're going to replace it with nothing. Replace all, and then on the last one I'll just add rope out for the last one. Then I guess we can add initial touchdown. One thing I'm curious is whether those need to be wrapped in quotation marks or not. Let me just quickly compare to this one. No, it doesn't. All right. So let's try and play the one we've just got. Let me get the chat back up so I can see it. Hang out with your grandma. No, it's important to spend time with family. You never have to apologize for not making a stream to spend time with family. Let's just refresh. El Reno 2013 custom. It's 45 minutes long, and we've got enough time to play that one. So yeah, let's go for it. Initial touchdown. Let's keep the reflectivity on. Oh wow, we've got quite a drive. Ah yeah, then actually that's one thing we need to fix. The player initial spawn point, I guess that's not in the editor. Yeah, I don't want to spend half of this 45 minutes just driving to the storm. Let's fix that. So we don't need to exit out the game. If we go back to the main menu, go to scenarios, I can just edit that. So that will be in, so the scenario JSON, you've got the player spawn. And then we've also got the Tornado 1 CSV. So we can look at the touchdown location. Head and distance. Actually, no, that should be. No, sorry, that's in here as well. So the touchdown's at 5.2 kilometers and 16. So if we place ourselves at say something like 4 kilometers and 15 kilometers, then we should be able to play. Let's get chat back up so I can see what I'm doing. Where's Tornado Research and Rescue? Nope, not that one. This one. So if I just click refresh, if you change anything, it's good to click refresh. Let's try that again. I've done Xena 1974. No, I've read a lot about it. I know it was a potential F6, but that was in the early days of the F scale where it didn't fully know everything. Whoa, that... Wait, what? That just appeared out of nowhere. Okay, I need to fix that then. That just instantly... Right, I think what we need to do is insert us a waypoint before then. Let's go to the scenario editor, open. I'm just going to copy this path here. Where is the game's file dialog? Let's go here. There we go. So we don't have a reference image anymore. But all we're needing to do... So let's see. So at point 1, I think we just need to insert a point after this one. No, we don't want to move the whole thing. Maybe just have one here, a width here of say 0. I guess this is only a few tens of meters, so what I don't want to do is move the entire rest of the map. Or what I could do, so I know this is halfway between there and there. So if I move this up here, and then move this halfway between there and there, then it should still line up with everything else. So let's export. Scenario exists, please export again within 5 seconds to override it. There we go. So we'll take a few iterations to get this right, but I still feel like this is going to be a lot quicker than doing it by hand with a CSV file and manually recording the heading and speed at every point in a CSV file. So let's just refresh, play scenario. This is going to throw us straight into the action. Change the touchdown delay minutes. Ah, yes, I forgot about that as well. Actually, I've got a controller. Let's use the controller. Might as well warn this town since we know what it's in the path of. I think I've noticed the lighting's always a little bit off in scenario mode. Things must load in a slightly different order. I can probably fix it by doing something like switching to balanced. And back to high fidelity. And let's put on things that are going to be interesting to see, like reflectivity. We can see the hook form. You can see the hook starting to form here. What does velocity show us? Something's happening. Got the tail cloud there on the left. I think we can keep heading east here. Should have touchdown pretty soon. Oh yeah, I guess I haven't input the actual date of it. I don't know what's happened to the VHS formatting on there. 1st of January 2000. Yeah, for some reason in scenario mode the date format's changed. That's a minor bug though, it's not a gameplay breaking bug. When's it going to touch down? Shouldn't velocity also show the forward motion of the storm? Oh yeah, I guess. How would I factor that in? So it looks like the tornado is going to form here. It looks like it's getting a weak hook here. The tornado will form right up here somewhere. I think I'm starting to see something. I'm imagining things. I thought I saw something, like dust or something getting kicked up around there. So I have tried to do that for scenario mode. That's one of the things I was working on. I was trying to make it so that in scenario mode the tornadoes don't always touch down tiny. So in career mode the touchdown size is randomized. So sometimes they'll touch down as small ropes, sometimes they'll touch down as an almost wedge. That happens in career mode. Trying to get it do that in scenario mode when you've got scripted preset sizes at each point makes that a bit more difficult. But I tried to make it use... Oh, we should probably do some warnings here. I tried to make it use... what do you call it? like the first 2 rows of the CSV file. Oh, there we go. Got our initial touchdown now. So it kind of can infer what the touchdown size should be. It just looks like the way I placed the waypoints doesn't let me show off that new feature. Alright, we definitely need to warn these towns. How do we get to them? I guess we need to add things like multi-vortex options and stuff as well to the editor. Like I said, this is a really basic first version, so it's not going to be perfect. It's going to take a few iterations to get something that's really, really nice to use, but I still think an imperfect version 1.0 is still better than only using CSV files. And if you want to tweak anything slightly, you can still always use the CSV. Like, you can use the scenario editor to get the overall shape of the tornado trail and then really fine-tune each individual entry if you want, using the raw CSV values. Warning boxes or hail core triangles. I don't know what difference that makes to the gameplay, having a warning box, other than just telling you exactly where the next tornado is going to touch down. Yeah, so it's weird, the hook's kind of on the western flank of the storm. There's not a whole lot I can do about that. It really depends on the shape of the cell that gets randomly generated. It then like figures out where the tornado should be and offsets it based on the shape that gets generated. So I don't have full control over that. Hail core triangles, I could maybe add those. I feel like we should move. Might as well drop this in the path. Just put all 4 data types. And might as well, we don't get any points for this, but we just might as well collect all the data we can on El Reno. Oh yeah, we can continue east and warn this next set of towns as well. Yeah, it's wide already, and that's only half a mile. It's still got its full 2.6 mile life cycle to go. It's starting to get rain wrapped as well, which makes it even scarier than the last playthrough of El Reno 2013. I can hear stuff smashing over there. Can we see anything from here? Oh yeah, we can. Look at all that debris reflecting in the camera. How wide is it now? Only 0.6 miles wide. Really gives an appreciation for how big these things were. I don't mean appreciate the fact they were big, I mean appreciate the severity of the situation. I think a respect for how big and powerful they were, I think would be a better word than appreciation. What is going on over there? Wow, and it's only well, it's only just hitting, what, F2 strength now? Let's open the map and just plan out our route a bit. Okay, we need to warn these towns down here, so I think we'll use this off-road track and go like this, and we'll try and warn these towns, okay? Off-road track, which means we need to head south. That way. Yeah, just directly into the path. We need to cross the path of the tornado. Oh, this could cut off our escape route, actually. We need to gets to stepping. Wow, that's huge. Yes, this is a really basic version of the El Reno scenario, so I just added... I used the reference image from the Tornado archive and then just demoed quickly. So how long did I actually spend on the scenario? Maybe 10 minutes in the editor and maybe an additional like 5-10 minutes just fixing some stuff in the CSV file. And testing a couple of things which didn't quite work out. Oh, it's starting its turn already. I think we should still warn those towns though. Whoa, that's just complete wall of darkness there, and it's only at 0.8 miles. Let's put reflectivity on. We're going to have an appreciation for the hooks as well, see if it ends up looking decent or not. I don't think we need the headlights. Oh, it's on a rain wrap as well. That's not even scripted, that's just from the random number generator saying this is going to be a rain wrapped tornado. As if it wasn't scary enough, let's make it play peekaboo with us as well. So I thought it was next to the siren there, must have misread that. Right, any more towns we need to worry about? Not right now. Let's continue east to stay ahead of it. Just going to try and keep this in the mini-map view for situational awareness. So we're in the big sort of inflow notch, so we need to head east to try and stay ahead of this thing. It's hard to differentiate the tornado from the rain shafts, essentially, just like the background precipitation. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Yeah, we're going to get onto this road. Oh, we're going to have to drive towards it. Okay, a little bit risky. Let's drive towards it and then hopefully outrun it. Wow. Oh, losing it a bit. Let's do... I think this is a good place to do possibly a quick deploy. I'm not going to risk going on that motorway because we don't have anywhere near enough time. Quick deploy, and then the road network kind of leaves us in a bad spot. Let's try and bridge across from there. Yeah, Tri-State tornado was reported as looking like a wall of rain. Yeah, that's the most dangerous thing about the high precipitation cells. It just looks like maybe like a bad thunderstorm or a bad hailstorm. And then by the time you realize what's going on, it's just, yeah, it's too late. Like, if anything like that ever happened in England, people would be really caught out. Because we'd be thinking, wow, this is a bad thunderstorm, but nobody would be thinking of hail much bigger than maybe a penny. A penny-size hail is considered rare here in Extreme. No, that's not what I meant to do. Uh-oh. And people certainly wouldn't be thinking of a tornado, let alone a violent one. So if we ever had a violent rain-wrapped tornado in England, yeah, I can't imagine the destruction and the fatality rate, because people just would not be ready or prepared for it or expecting it. I know we've got a way of saying out like national alerts, but I think those are things like nuclear war. Or maybe like earthquakes or something like that. I don't know if we can send like targeted like tornado alerts. specific areas, maybe it can. But I don't think anyone's planning for ever really needing something like that. Right, strengthening now. Let's try and set up for another intercept. We'll go quick recall. I think we're in the perfect spot to do a quick deploy. What's our data like so far? Bunch of F1 and F2 samples. Let's just step out the vehicle and just watch. Because this reminds me, it was Skip Talbot, wasn't it, who was watching it and realised the precipitation bands are moving left to right and realised he was in a really dangerous situation. And he made the right call of thinking, we need to get out of here now, and left. Whereas I think most people, like your average civilian looking at some rain, they're going to think, there's some rain. They're not going to be looking for like nuances like left to right motion. And even if they did happen to notice that, would they put two and two together and think, maybe there's a tornado in there? You can see the tornado's right in the Hook region there. It's wrapping harder now. Now it's moved from like the western flank to the southwest flank of the storm. That was Birmingham, UK. Yeah, but what was that? Like F3, and from what I can tell from the footage, from what I remember, it was quite visible. Let me just quickly look. Oh, this is a really nice east-west road. Let's stay in the inflow notch. Notice like it's a clear area. Let's try and stay ahead of it. Relatively rain wrapped. Relatively rain wrapped. Relatively rain wrapped. Relatively rain wrapped. I think I've done a decent job actually. That is tricky though. Oh, look at it. What width is it now? It's only 0.7 of a mile. It's not even 3/4 of a mile yet. We're nowhere near the insanity of what was May 31st, 2013. It's weird to think I was in America May 31st, 2013, but very far away. Actually, we're going to need a north option soon, aren't we? Let's get up this hill. I feel like we're going to need the time to navigate ahead of it. Someone observed two near simultaneously power flashes that were impossibly far apart. Oh, I've never heard of that story before. That is... yeah, that's scary. Like, my first thought, if I saw that, would be like, oh, there's two tornadoes. Not that, oh yeah, these two tornadoes, like almost these two power flashes, sorry, almost 3 miles away, are from the same tornado. Something's got lifted up there. What? Whoa. Speaking of power flashes, what is going up on there, up in the funnel? I saw something orbiting there for a second. I'm just going to hide the hood just to take this photo. Just because the date formatting's gone a bit weird. Oh, so it's beginning it. Well, it looks like a northern turn. No wonder it tricked people as well, because it would look like it's suddenly turned north, and then it's suddenly heading still in the same direction it was before. Like, you think, oh, it's a north turn, then it's going to do like a little loop and then continue. Because I've had tornado dreams plenty of times, but I can't imagine what it's like in real life facing something like that. myself as well, if I was in that situation, like I can interpret radar. I've got a rough idea of storm structure. Like I'd like people to understand where I am in position to it and figure out like where I was like relatively positioned to the tornado, and if I had like radar, I'll be able to get an idea of which direction it's moving and be able to like visually track whether it's moving or not. Like if it's not moving left or right, then I know I'm in a bad spot. But for the average person who's just thinks tornadoes are scary and you don't have any of that sort of like background knowledge, you just feel totally helpless, just like you're completely at the mercy of Mother Nature, really. Whoa. See, yeah, tricked us there. I remember somebody had the idea of randomly putting the El Reno 2013 scenario into the game, but not letting people know that's what the scenario is. And then seeing how people position, how many people actually get tricked out. Even knowing what happened on... Because what happened on El Reno was like the first time of anything ever really happening like that. So even having that background knowledge, would people realise, wait, this is the El Reno 2013 scenario, or take some sort of lesson away from positioning around the storm or escape routes from there? Oh, I just heard, I'm just reading that comment about having the horizontal, was it a sub-vortex? Or maybe I'm thinking of something else. There was an interview with Picos Hank. He's been interviewed by a woman, I can't remember her name, she was also a storm chaser or photographer, involved in some way with the field of storm chasing, and talking about biggest like moments at the mist, where like they had a chance for a good shot and missed. And I think he was talking about El Reno 2013. It was either a sub vortex or a horizontal vortex which appeared like right in front of him. And like he missed the shot, like it disappeared before he had the chance. He like so mesmerized by it. And there's an interview he just did. What's the width of the tornado now? We're still only 0.8 of a mile. Do we need to warn these towns, or will the... So there's the thing, look, we know it's going to make like a U-turn or a U-shaped path and come up here, so we know the benefit of hindsight is that we know that we're going to have to warn these, but these are flashing and I don't know which point it begins to turn north. I think we'll continue on before our escape route gets cut off and start heading this way so we can start warning these towns. So I think we should continue east and take the next right. Wow, that's really wedging out. 0.9 miles. Okay, it's starting its rapid growth phase. I'm hoping it turns north before it impacts those two towns though. Which way we want to go? East. East and then take the next right. Grand Island 1980, is that the one that Night of the Twisters is based on? Like the made-for-TV movie Night of the Twisters? Is that Grand Island, Nebraska? Yeah, that's the other thing about El Reno. It already looked like a wedge tornado. So I'm just reading your comment there, random guy, 4297. Yeah, it already looked intimidating enough, never mind the fact that its true wind field actually was like twice or more of like the actual width of the visible funnel. Yeah, the Grand Island one, yeah, I remember that from the movie, from Night of the Twisters, saying that the anticyclonic. You got violent anticyclonic tornadoes and multiples of them, like, yeah. Some events are just complete anomalies. no one's prepared for them, no one's expecting them, and they just happen. Oh, come on, please turn north before you hit those towns. I'm not really going to get a good chance to warn them. Got a nice little loop there on the map. Definitely easier to create the loop by hand in an editor than to try and figure out where all the points should be in a CSV file. And it's 1.3, so it's about... Right, let's get a good view of it, because it's only at half the width that it's going to get to. Yeah, I guess to do Grand Island, I'll have to add the possibility to add multiple tornado paths in the editor. And once I've done that, yeah, Grand Island's a natural fit for that. Yeah, so what we're looking at here is a little over half the width of what it's actually going to get up to. Come on, please turn north. I guess this, I forget we've got this option, haven't we? If there's any scenario which warrants an EAS alert, it's El Reno 2013. Even though the El Reno 2011 footage is some of the most insane I've ever seen. And that footage of them, the guy and his girlfriend, driving across like a bridge over like a lake. And he just keeps telling her to keep filming. And you can just see like water getting whipped up and everything. Like that was some insane footage. It's starting its proper wedging out phase here. You can see it visually expanding if I stop. So with it being like an F3 strength, but also so wide, like the visual rotation rate of it slowed way down. Couldn't this be evidence that it definitely couldn't have been F3 then? Because you could see the visual left to right motion in the video footage. Had to be F5 or EF5. I'm tired. I'm somehow running off like 5 hours sleep. I just couldn't get to sleep very well last night. Woke up after 5 hours and I just had plenty of opportunities to have naps and things like that and just haven't been able to fall asleep. I feel like I'm starting to come down with something. 1.9 miles now. So there's very little visible rotation. So yeah, maybe we do need to bump up some of those points to F5 and just kind of ignore the official, like use the path that's given, but ignore the official damage rating since they're obviously not accurate. Especially when it's getting this wide. Like you're not going to have like an EF2, EF3 tornado be this wide. Specify how much tornadoes have condensed. Yeah, like there is internally a thing called like formation percent, which is just runs between 0 and 1. So 0 means the tornado's not visible, and 1 means it's completely condensed down to the ground. It's kind of randomized. It's more of an internal variable than one that you can really control from a CSV, because it also depends on like the bottom ratio and what else does it depend on? Like the actual touchdown size and some other randomized variables as well. We're 2.4 miles now. So I have to zoom way out on the VHS to actually capture it. Oh, it did turn north just in time. They got impacted by F1 winds. That turned north just in time. We need a good northern escape route as well. I think we need to make it east. Yeah, just the sheer width of the tornado is going to cut off our escape route. Let's just continue east. till we get to this T-junction. Imagine looking out your window and all you can see, well, I guess you don't have to imagine, I guess we've got Dan Robinson's footage. You can see out of his rear window just nothing but tornado. I think you can see like the left or right edge of it, and that's it. But yeah, it definitely needs to be bumped up to F5 because look how slow that thing's rotating. That's definitely not right. Just imagine if somehow the scenario editor in the game became like an official like NWS SPC tool for figuring out if ratings are valid based on like visual rotation rate. I think it did. I was asking ChatGPT about this, so it may not be fully accurate, but apparently in Dan Robinson's footage, when it fully condenses for a brief moment behind him when he's making his escape along Reuter Road. Is that how you pronounce it? Reuter Road? Reuter Road? I forget the pronunciation. I think it's near its maximum width at that point. It's turning north now. Let's double back and take that north road to get onto the next chunk of road. Now, if we're quick, we can maybe use that section of motorway to get north quite quickly. Where's our probe actually? Let's do a quick recall. That is just pure insanity. So do a drive towards... Oh, so some of those towns are going to need warned up there. Best way to get there. Actually, I think we'll continue along this route. Take the next left. Then yeah, navigate around here and come around this way. Essentially, we're racing El Reno to those towns now. Right, let's concentrate for a second. Figure out where I'm going. Oh, I've got reflectivity turned off. What does the hook look like now? Right, I'm wasting a lot of time keep going off-road trying to read the map. I'm going to have to turn that off so I can see what I'm doing. Let's keep going north. We'll take the next right and then the next left, and then we'll turn left. So go to the end of the road, right, left past the cornfield. Oh, end of the road, right. And go all the way to the end again. Left, and then left after the cornfield. If I remember the directions properly. Could make if you crash into those that just explode and instantly end your game. In quite a clear region of the storm now. So I will catch up on chat in a minute. Right, then there should be a cornfield coming up. Yeah, here it is, and we want to turn left immediately after this cornfield. We even take the Bob's Road shortcut through the cornfield like in Twister. Right, the town should be just ahead now. You can see how it's wrapping around the outer edge of the tornado. Not entirely accurate, the best I could manage for now. Up to the radar. That was the last update. Added hook echoes, and I reintroduced some of the cell generation algorithms from the 2023 version with some improvements, and then some basic hook echoes are added. They don't always come out perfect because I can't do like a full fluid simulation, supercell simulation. But yeah, that was a new thing on the last stream. Right, I can see the town up ahead. Wow, it looks like we're barely wow, this is difficult. I'm trying to drive that zoomed in. Is it not heading this way anymore? Cells are evolving around the tornado. Yeah, I've essentially made the tornado the source of truth of where the hook should be. So yeah, the cells repositioning around. I need to slightly rethink that. So I think we can continue back east again. We'll just keep an eye on it so we don't accidentally put ourselves in the path. Might as well warn this next town we're going to pass as well. See, live save, that's what we want to see, especially when we're doing historic scenarios. One thing I think I'm going to add in the next update, so not this one, but the next one, is I'm going to remove fatalities and injuries being displayed in historical scenarios. Yeah, it's looping around, yeah, want to avoid that. I guess it's fine for the career mode tornadoes, which don't change direction too much. But for this, yeah, it doesn't look quite right. I have to rethink the algorithm. It's doing some texture remapping there. It's essentially like, it's like the hail cores on like an elasticated string, and it's just getting spun around the tornado. Like the tornado's so strong, it's physically shifting the hail cores, like orbiting it. Yeah, there's like barely any visible rotation in that. Definitely an F5. F5, EF5, call it what you want. Oh, do you know nothing's happening? The hook logic uses also the width and strength of the tornado. I think because the tornado is so wide, this part of the cell is actually getting caught up in the, I guess, the twisting, warping that it's doing to it. Maybe I have to investigate that, figure out what's going on. So it doesn't necessarily always make the cell stay in front of the tornado. It is in this case. Essentially what I do is I generate the cell, make sure it's got at least like 30% coverage, so it's not just like an empty cell with very little precipitation going on. Oops. And then look within the middle. So we say, since the widest a tornado can be is, well, just over 4 kilometers, or more than that, 6.5 kilometers or something, isn't it? 6 kilometers. We want to make sure that if the tornado does reach its full width, that it doesn't stick out or poke out from the edge of the supercell, because then it wouldn't look right. So I'd like essentially a 6 kilometer margin around, and then search the inner part of the storm for the most intense values, which would be here, and then randomly position the tornado somewhere in that vicinity. And on top of that, use the hook echo logic to place the hook where the tornado now is. But yeah, the whole hail core is getting slingshot around the tornado. I'm gonna try and get a better look at it now, actually. Let's head west. There's a west road taking us west there. We just drove past. I think we're almost at the what do you call it? Roping out phase, the weakening and roping out phase. So let's get a bit of a better look, get a bit closer to it. I think I'll take the next left and the next right, and we can watch it pass in front of us. I did actually see a comment by Little Cloud Games today saying that he is trying to work on creating like a multiplayer for a new map, but like the complexity of it is making it really difficult for him. So it's good to see he's still working on the game. Maybe for old time's sake, I'll do a Storm Chasers stream one night. I think I can hear some shattering going on. Right, maybe we'll just watch it from here. Oh wow, look at all that. Oh yeah, there's like a hidden velocity radar in there. Yeah, if you look on my channel, I've got some old modding tutorials. I didn't mention the velocity radar, but yeah, there's some stuff you can see where he's tried something or preparing a future feature, and it, like the code or the logic's there. But it never made it into the like final build. But it looks like it's doing something that's like rapidly shrinking there. When I think the scenario editors come into the game tonight, after the stream, I'll push it in the next update. So it's not perfect by any means. It's an initial attempt to add a basic scenario editor. There's other things which need to be added, like your initial spawn point and start date and time. But I think are we getting in the outer circulation here? But I think it's decent enough that people can start using it. So yeah, why is the chat so busy all of a sudden? I'm not sure. Because I noticed a spike in traffic to the Steam page yesterday, but then I noticed Garuda was doing a live stream. So I put two and two together there. I was like, So I appreciated the attention the game was getting there. Then there was a second spike later in the day, and I don't know where that came from. Coming straight towards us. Should we do a reversing challenge and try and reverse down the motorway in first person view. Reversing at 30 miles an hour. 224, so we are opening up a bit more of a margin between ourselves and the tornado. Oh, it's going rain wrapped again. Okay, this reversing is getting a bit annoying. Okay, let's reset and hopefully get onto the bridge. There we go. Saved it. This is where it's in smooth gameplay. If you can barely run the game, biggest setting, let me just show this quickly. Best setting for performance is probably the map tile rings. Set that to 1. After that, probably your weather quality and definitely the tornado quality and cell quality will be the next biggest things. It's getting rain wrapped again, that tornado. I'm seeing something in the tornado there. I can't figure out what it is. What's going on here? Might just be precipitation wrapping or something. Trying to figure out what these dark streaks are inside the tornado. I think, is that recognizable as the El Reno path? It always reminds me, it looks like the outline of a seal. Like, that's like the head of the seal and its nose, and then you got like the rest of its body. Horizontal vortices? Ah, maybe, actually. I'm just used to horizontal vortices being almost the size of the tornado, not like 1/10 of the width of the tornado. It's shrinking now, it's at 1 mile. It's going to pass to our south, so it should be safe here. Yeah, fluid simulations are hard to optimize. So I did use a third-party asset for fluid simulation, but I had to heavily customize it to get it to resemble anything like a tornado. Hours and hours and hours into these tornadoes. Had to even create I had to gather a lot of statistics and create like a statistical model and then like translate that from R, which is like a statistical program language called R, into C#. When do I add multiplayer co-op? You know, I really want to start that this month if I can. I don't want to do it too early, because once you have multiplayer, it's very difficult to change other aspects of the game. I've been saying a year for multiplayer. For very basic multiplayer, it may not be that long. It may only be a matter of a few months. In time for Christmas, possibly? I don't know. Weather conditions like fog? I'm not sure. The precipitation curtains kind of act like fog when you're driving through them, since it is all volumetric. Yeah, the only thing you can really do for volumetric in like fluid simulation is run it at a lower resolution. It's the only thing you can do for performance, really. The people who have bought the asset have to create a top-notch, high-quality asset, and they've really optimized everything that they can. The only thing I can do and offer to players is to change the resolution that the simulations run at. Yeah, here it goes. It's final stages. Yeah, there it is. So I was reading the chat there, it's just disappeared. Attempt to add make volumetric clouds and it ran horribly. Add lakes, yeah, so they're all planned. So each tile type in the game, so each individual tile that I add is probably anywhere from like 45 minutes to maybe 2 or 3 hours of work for just one tile type. Everything clears up as if nothing ever happened. So yeah, I do want to add lakes. It's very time consuming. So it's either multiple nights of pretty much nothing being added to the game, except me working on one tile, uh, or I need to essentially book a day's holiday off work so that I can work on the game at home. But I don't have that many days holiday left. Oh yeah, shaders take a different way of thinking. Think of shaders as a program that runs on each individual pixel. Say for a 2D shader, which is what I use for rendering these maps. The program runs, so imagine it's a program or a function which takes like an X and Y coordinate in, and all you have to decide for that function or for that program is what color should this pixel be. And the GPU can massively parallelize that and have it run lightning fast. But yeah, shaders take a definite, complete different way of thinking compared to normal like procedural programming. So yeah, that was El Reno. Let me get us a screenshot of that. Let's move my mouse out the way. So I just realized for some reason, why is that stay invisible? Oh well, no big issue, really. I'm just going to screenshot that just so we can do a comparison after. So let's fire up Photoshop and see how we did. Data, we can't analyze it. It's just showing there what we got. F3 strength, wind. So let's go, no, don't delete all progress, definitely don't that. Return to the main menu, we'll exit out. I think this is ready. Also, I forgot to show, had a last minute suggestion right when I was getting ready for the stream. Let me just drop into career mode. Controller. We've got two different Y-axis inversion options now, for one for vehicle third person, and then one for first person as well. So that's in the game. So let me just, I think we've got the return to main menu hidden down here. The view matrix and projection matrix was doing. Oh yes, when you've got to go between like screen space coordinates and world space and local space, or like object space. Yeah, I remember because the first tornadoes I wrote, those were like a custom shader I wrote myself. Probably hundreds of hours went into that to learn all sorts of like not necessarily linear algebra, but you had to understand conceptually what was going on. Let me fire up Photoshop. Based off what's in the clipboard, let me just put it up here. So we'll paste that in. Yeah, what does the side thumb wheel do on the Logitech mouse in Photoshop? Nothing by the looks of it. Then we'll take our reference image. So let me just figure out where I saved that. We'll paste that in here as well. And then we need to scale them. Oops, didn't mean to rotate it. It's almost the same. Let's just do that for now. We'll set the opacity to what, like 50%? Zoom in a bit. I'd say they're reasonably close. Let me just put the opacity on full. Uh, See, for a first attempt, considered I just spent about 10 minutes in the scenario editor. That's not too bad. So I'm happy with that. So yeah, I will end the stream now. I'll need to push an update. I need to try and get an early night's sleep. And hope you all enjoy the new scenario editor. Thank everybody for joining and for the comments and suggestions. Always trying to improve the game, so I always appreciate feedback. But yeah, this update will go live in the next 10-20 minutes, so keep an eye on Steam and you'll be having your own editor soon. So I'm going to sign out now. Everybody have a great rest of your day. And then